Is there more to exercise than meets the eye? Are there benefits beyond just your physical health? Hi, I'm Stephen Gewinmall. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm your host for the Aevidum podcast. Aevidum is a nonprofit that empowers students to shatter the silence around mental health and suicide. In this episode, we're learning more about how staying active can help not just your body, but also your mind. Recently, we sat down with Jess Langlois. She just graduated from Lafayette College, and she's interned with Aevidum. Her psychology research project sheds light on the ways in which exercise could be an important way to treat mental health. Here's our conversation. So, Jess, tell us about the project you've been working on and how it relates to what Aevidum does.
Yeah, so I'm currently conducting research for my psychology honors thesis. The title of the project is Undergraduate Students' Opinions of Exercise as an Alternative Mental Health Treatment. So I went into this project learning a lot about college student mental health. Right now, it's not looking too good. A lot of college students are either in distress or like meet criteria for a psychological diagnosis, and counseling centers on college campuses aren't necessarily getting the resources that they need to treat the amount of cases that they have. So I proposed that colleges could use exercise as an alternative mental health treatment because exercise has so many mental health benefits. And it also has been used in other like psychological facilities before as a therapeutic treatment and works perhaps better than other psychological treatments like therapy and medication as well. So what we did was we interviewed like 40 college students. We asked them about how feasible it would be for them to use exercise for their mental health, and also like how their mental health was, what were some barriers to physical activity and mental health on campus. And we learned that participants and college students are typically using exercise as a way to manage their mental health, although there are a lot of barriers that come with that as well on college campuses. And we also learned a lot about like the mental health stigma on college campuses as well, and what colleges can do better to care for their students, such as integrating exercise and more physical activity. And how it relates to Aevidum. Aevidum does a lot of like programming for students to teach them about mental health. And this was actually one of the things that like participants wanted more of on college campuses, more like programming to teach them about the benefits of physical activity, or even like nutrition, or even more resources and availability of the counseling center to better care for their mental health. So Aevidum teaches, we went to a club training recently about like an hour away, and they teach the students in the Aevidum clubs that mental health is also physical health. And this project really emphasizes that by caring for your body, you're also caring for your mind, and vice versa.
I love that we're making the connection that health is health. No matter
Right.
if it's mental or physical, it all matters. And I think there's a lot of value in your research, Jess, because, um, you know, students who start in elementary school go to middle school, go to high school, some go to college. And so the journey of mental health is so important to keep up with. And as you mentioned, as they progress through education, their bodies, their minds are progressing as well. Can you tell us more about the exercise portion of it? I mean, I would imagine that like during the pandemic when we really weren't able to do a lot of things, being outside was kind of a good thing for us to do. But how exactly does health kind of exercise feed into making mental health stronger?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny that you mention being outside, because there are actually like the benefits of exercise, sorry, are actually increased when you exercise outside. There's something about being outside that really like helps increase like cognitive control and awareness of surroundings. So there's mental health benefits in that. Um, just generally, exercise relieves symptoms of like depression, stress, anxiety, and even schizophrenia as well. Um, Also, exercise typically teaches behaviors that we would like target in therapy, like focused attention, cognitive control, goal setting behaviors. Exercise also releases endorphins and also other like neurotropic factors, which help like um, emphasize like neuron growth in your brain. So connections are made stronger, and typically like people who exercise have reduced areas of in their brain of that are associated with depression as well. There's also this like behavioral activation piece of exercise too, where instead of like laying in your bed on your phone to take a break, you're actually like getting up and you're going out and you're doing something about it instead of staying where you are. And exercise also promotes better sleep. It promotes better ratings of self-esteem, life satisfaction, and well-being too. There's a lot to work with.
I was going to say, I mean, as you're describing things, I'm imagining how exercise could benefit my own life. And I often find myself, even as a man in my 30s, often on my phone when I could be, at the gym. And I think for a lot of people, if therapy is, not an option because of finances, and maybe not even like necessarily going to a gym, but like you said, just being outside and going for a walk is not only cost effective, but it also has lots of great benefits when it comes to mental health. I wanted to ask you just about your motivation for pursuing a project like this. Why is this something that you wanted to do a project on?
Yeah. So I'm very interested in college student mental health. I am a college student. So the topic is very applicable to me and how I take care of myself as well. I actually got the idea from a different class. I took a class called Social Determinants of Health. And while I was researching for my final project, I learned this association of physical activity and mental health. And not, I feel like I knew that like as I was growing up, but I actually found lots of empirical evidence to support that, and even that that it's been used as a mental health treatment before. And through like researching for that past project, I learned that there are a lot of barriers for college students to physically exercise on campus. And as a result of that, college students aren't exercising the amount that's recommended for them. And then I also learned in that project that college students aren't um, very mentally healthy either. So I kind of was like, well, why don't we just like kind of kill two birds with one stone? And if we promote exercise as a mental health treatment, we'll be able to increase physical activity levels by making so college students will be getting healthier physically and then simultaneously increasing these mental health benefits as well. So college students will be getting more mentally healthy too. And so I that is not what I ended up doing my final project on in this social determinants of health class. But I did take this idea to a psychology professor. She loved it, and we've been working on it ever since.
And so, with this research, what are some recommendations that you have, whether it be for places of higher education, whether it be for college students? What are some takeaways that you think that we can learn from your research?
Wow, it's such a great question. So, I think that really like it comes down to like two parts. I think like there is a lot that colleges can be doing to promote physical activity for college students. A lot of it comes down to kind of facilitating an intrinsic motivation to exercise because a lot of students can think of like a million reasons why they can't go because of time in their schedule or other responsibilities or the gym is just so far away. So colleges can really take the opportunity to provide programming that's closer to students, providing education on how to use gym equipment, even like facilitating like competitions between class years, like a step competition, or partnering with different offerings in the area. Like we're in Easton, there's a Club Pilates like down the hill, and maybe we could even do a program with them and really like the main thing that participants said was really creating a community that is focused also on like physical activity, whether that's like doing things as a whole college or doing things by class year. It was really just about making it seem like physical activity is a part of the culture, that it's not just only in the gym, that it's easy to physically exercise and you can do it anywhere. And the other thing I think you can learn, well, hopefully that colleges learn from my research, is that there's a lot that they can do as well to increase mental health care on campus. Like we went into this project not even expecting that we would get like 40 participants. Like one of the people at my defense was telling me like, well, what are you going to do if you don't get 40? And I was like, well, I will cross that bridge. But we actually ended up getting more than 40 participants. And it was really surprising to us that so many students were like ready and able to talk about mental health when they mentioned that the culture on campus is so like quiet about mental health and no one really knows that what anyone is going through. So besides just like talking about mental health more and addressing that, hey, there are all these like stressors that college students deal with, like how are we going to combat them? Students were really interested in, as well as events that really brought the entire community together to promote mental health and promote connection between students. They also wanted it to be seen as a more like feasible option for students, instead of more of a like mental health care as a more feasible option instead of something that is something you go to in a case of emergency. So by making the counseling center a little bit more accessible with the amount of hours that they offer, who is actually providing the counseling, making appointments online might be easier for people. And someone even had the idea of having like a weekly check-in where you can be like, hey, I'm not doing well this week. And then they can schedule an appointment from there. And you don't even have to respond to like a weekly check-in, but at least you have the option to, because I think a lot of students don't think they have the option to care for their mental health in such a rigorous academic environment.
There is so much to learn from not just your research, but I would even say that the importance of exercise goes beyond college students and can really be for anyone who's listening of any age. The benefits of exercise to improve mental health is certainly something that should be looked into. So, Jess, I want to thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
In our next episode, we'll hear from one young woman whose passion for mental health includes giving back to her community. As always, thank you for listening to the Aevidum podcast. Special thanks to WellSpan for their support and to ND Sites for editing. You can follow Aevidum on Instagram at Aevidum. That's AEVIDUM. And you can learn more about what we do at aevidum.org. I'm Stephen Jewenmall, and I've got your back. Every year, Aevidum sends free material kits filled with supplies and instructions to active Aevidum clubs to help them complete mental health and suicide prevention campaigns in their schools. Last school year, we partnered with Sophie and Let's Bake the World a Better Place to give each school enough materials to make 25 mental health care packages for their communities. We're actually getting ready to send out our material kits for this upcoming school year, so if you're part of an Aevidum club and you're interested in receiving a kit, you can email clubs@aevidum.org. We'll also have a link in our newsletter for club advisors in September.